to recognize the fact that the most important tool to support this effective transition is to invest in learning and development. And that is the context in which XLRI has decided to partner with LeadUp and initiate this program. So we really felt that in this scenario, XLRI being known for its core capability in the human resource management field, in terms of our, long track record of developing and nurturing change agents in the form of both HR as well as business leaders, in 2020, toward the end of 2020, we decided that we would want to launch a program in this space to address the requirement of the CHROs in the making. So that is when LeadUp and XLRI partnered, LeadUp as our strategic partner, and we introduced this program, which is titled as Postgraduate Diploma in HRM. Now, when we initiated it, the AICTE recognition was not in the forefront of our objectives. But as we designed it, as we started rolling it out, we felt also a kind of a response from the market, which said that it would also be a good idea to get this program recognized by the AICTE as well. So that's how we decided to go through those processes and get this program accredited by the regulatory agency, which is looking after these schools program, which is AICTE. So therefore, this high-end prestigious program is naturally aimed at those professionals in HR and related field who have their eyes on the HR C-suite and who need a little more real-world wisdom and guidance to support or to facilitate that transition into the C-suite. So therefore, with the involvement of top-notch academics from India and abroad, as well as mentoring support from leading business and HR leaders, this 18-month-long program, it's a virtual program, will be one of its kind to support the transformation of the future CHROs, as well as the HR organization, so to say. Though this is a PGDM HRM program, since it is aimed at or targeted people with experience, we would be able to deliver the program in 18 months instead of the mandatory 24 months. So it's an 18-month, 1.5 years program. We always call it as academically conceptualized, practitioner enriched, and CEO validated program. So that is the 3 key points when we design this program. So this naturally combines theory and the practice. So that's why we are saying academically conceptualized, practitioner enriched, and CEO validated. Those stages actually did happen when we were designing this program. So it has a rigorous curriculum enriched with practitioner perspective and naturally delivered by exceptional academic resources, both from within the country as well as abroad, and besides, of course, by some of the leading practitioners in the profession. Some of the other unique features, you would have read about it, you would have accessed the brochures, also had a series of conversation with our partners, the LeadUp, and you would have got to know these key features. But let me once again reiterate on these features, such as one-on-one career and mentoring conversation. From the very beginning, you would be assigned to a mentor, fine, with so much of experience holding CHRO role or CXO role. And this conversation would be a key intervention that would be happening as part of this program. You will, of course, learn immensely from the rich and diverse set of participants who would form the cohort in terms of, so we are expecting a group size of about 50 people in this cohort. So naturally, as I said, this is an AICTE approved program. So as you would know, you would associate certain rigor for a program that is coming from XLRI. Plus the fact that there are certain, what should I say, regulatory norms that would be required for us to, we would be required to follow those norms. So therefore, you would have a fairly, what should I say, kind of a rigorous, enriching kind of experience. And we would be there, both XLRI and Lead Up, to support you throughout your journey in this program and beyond, to help you realize your dream of moving to the C-suite. Now, let me also show you a couple of slides, which is broadly talking about the contours of the program. I hope this is visible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah. So I talked about it in brief. 18 months program, AICTE recognized, 6 terms of 3 months each. There could be some slight differences that you might come across when compared to the first batch, because we have become wiser, and in terms of some of those hiccups that we would have experienced, probably we would also want to iron them out. Fine. So therefore, some minor modification in terms of sequencing, in terms of the structure, you might experience. Why I'm saying this, you would have, some of you would have already discussed with your seniors and got to know certain kind of scheduling or certain kind of structure in the program, and some bit of it might undergo some changes. So you will have 36 courses broadly. It could be 35 or 36 courses. Besides that, capstone project, and all these 36 courses are offered synchronous. Fine. There are many programs that are happening across the world in terms of some of the leading B schools have entered our country in terms of offering these programs. So many a time you may find a synchronous program or delivery, but this, all the courses would be offered synchronous. And you have a capstone project, you have a dissertation work, and tentatively, or more or less, it is sort of finalized that we would commence the program with an orientation in the last week of March 2022, sorry, 23. Now, again, number of courses, a few courses of 15 hours and 20. On an average, each course would have 20-hour session. Some courses might be a smaller, shorter duration, and some a little longer. We talked about both this mentoring and career services, as well as dissertation and other projects. Who will offer this program? We talked about XLRI faculty from different areas of expertise. Besides that, 1/3 of these courses would be delivered by faculty from international B schools. And you would also have an industry practitioner or an industry perspective to each of these courses. Now, if you just would like to, probably sometime later, I can share this with you. So we are looking at, in terms of 3 broad focus, as you can see: leading the external environment, leading the business, and leading the human capital. So that is the perspective that we have used while designing the program. So you have multiple tracks. You can see there are 6 tracks actually. Track 1 is leadership of external environment. Track 2 is leading business, and track 3 is digitization and future of work, which is so critical in today's world. And foundation track 4 would be about transforming HR first, how that happens. Then you have series of advanced tracks, which focuses deep diving into various HR aspects, such as how to drive the culture and purpose of the organization, talent strategies, how to become, as CHRO, a trusted advisor and coach to the leadership and CEO, how to become a change leader, how to become an operational leader in terms of driving excellence in operations area, industry relations, and of course, diversity and equity, which is a very important component today. And finally, in terms of corporate governance, ethics, and board management as critical agenda item before CHROs. So this would be the broad focus. And as we move along, we will spend more time, interact more with you in terms of giving you further details about the exact nature of curriculum, etc. So thank you very much for your interest in joining to the program. And I now hand it over to Rishmi.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You can close the screen, sir.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
I think before we move forward with that, Rashmi, if anybody has any question for Professor Prem Rajan, you can ask. Otherwise, we can move on with the next part of the session.
So, sir, you're
Okay,
going to be
that's
here.
radio silence. Okay.
I'll be here for some time. I'll have to leave by 3:40.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you all can
Sure.
leave your, you all can put your questions on the chat and we can take it. Sir is here for another half an hour. So first of all, welcome and congratulations. I think first of all is taking the step to, reinvent yourself. You all have done it. And then the second step was to actually crack the meeting with Professor Prem Rajan, which you all have done it. So congratulations. And I think it's a great step towards the new year, 2023. So congratulations once again, and a big round of applause to all of you. So we actually wanted to, sort of, since, a couple of you have got your, selection letters only yesterday. So we just thought that, before the year end closes, we should actually, sort of get you all together and give you a little bit of, perspective about what you should be expecting in this program. Of course, Professor Prem Rajan very nicely detailed out and gave a broad overview. We will be having a proper inductions once the entire batch is ready. As I said, as he's already indicated that the admission process, the selection process will go until first week of Feb. So hopefully by that time, we will have a cohort of about 50 to 60 people in the class. So right now we are at 40 and it's a top 40. So congratulations once again, and thank you for being here. So as Sir talked about the entire broad structure, which is basically, it also has the entire academic aspect to it, which comes from XLRI and a couple of international professors that XLRI has sort of tied up with. A very integral part of the program is mentoring. So this is the only unique program which is being given in Asia Pacific, where along with a course from a premium university, you're also getting CXO one-on-one mentoring. So we thought that, why not, sort of give you the overview of what actually happens in the mentoring conversation. So here we have Rohit Thakur and Indumati. Rohit is the mentor and Indu is the mentee. And I thought it would be great that, we all could hear from them directly and understand what is going on well and how both of them are adding value to the program, as well as how it is, sort of impacting the work that they're also doing. So let me first introduce both of them. I'll start with Indumati Singh Valuri. Indu has about 25 years of experience and worked with organizations like Tata, GE, Genpact, and IIT. And over the last 15 years, she has been working with Deloitte and is currently the Senior Vice President HR at Deloitte USA, Hyderabad. In her current role as lead business advisor, she crafts, executes, and drives the delivery of business talent strategy. She is actually the HR business partner and HR head for 8,000 people and leads a team of 10 HR professionals. She is also Six Sigma certified black belt from GE PMP and a member of the NHRD Association. She is a yoga enthusiast, a nature lover, and she lives in Hyderabad with her husband Vipul, who is also an HR leader, and son Vihan and her parents. So welcome, Indu, and thank you for joining us and giving us a perspective. She's also she's also in the pilot batch, this year's batch 2022-23. They're going to pass out in December of 2023. So she is the first cohort student, and very nicely she has, sort of taken out her December vacation and, sort of agreed to speak to us. We also have Rohit Thakur, who's a CHRO lead school. It's one of the newest unicorn in the country right now, B2B EdTech startup. Rohit has about 30 years of industry experience under his belt and has worked across various organizations over his 30 years careers. He is also an XLRI alumnus, passed out, he did his MBA, XLRI 1993, Rohit?
Yes.
Okay. So graduate from SRCC Delhi and XLRI 93 Jamshedpur. He has worked in organizations like Accenture, Microsoft, where he worked as a CHRO there, 11 years in GE, and in various leadership roles across India and US. He's also worked with Eicher Tractors, Cadence Design Systems, and Bosch & Lomb. He is currently the CHRO for Lead School, where he's been here for the last 1 year. Rohit, 1 year? It's been 1 year?
Just about a year. Yes, I just finished a year.
Yeah. So from multinational organizations to startup, a unicorn startup, I think he's seen it all, done it all. And he's also the mentor and a very, very engaged mentor. In fact, when we started off this program, Professor Prem mentioned that it is academically conceptualized and practitioner enriched. He is one of the practitioners who actually gave a lot of insights and, in fact, gave a lot of perspective as to how the design of the program should be and what should be there inside. So thank you, Rohit, for being such an engaged mentor for Lead Up as well, and also for, being, a great mentor for everybody in the program.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for connecting with me on this.
Yeah. So, so the entire idea was to, sort of give the audience a view about what happens in this mentoring relationship, and how does it actually sort of, take the learnings, what is happening in class, and, you end up doing, working it out in the real world. So Indu, starting from you have a 25 years of career under your belt, and you're also leading HR as one of the biggest units of Deloitte. So what was the trigger for you to join this course? What induced you to join this program?
So Rashmi, before I go to your question, I really want to take this opportunity to first of all congratulate the second batch of students. And I'm so glad to see that I'm quite familiar with a couple of them, because they reached out to me and they asked me about the program. And I'm glad that, they listened to me, and good to see them part of this. And thank you for this opportunity, Rashmi and Mayank. It's truly an honor, to be sharing this space with Rohit and talking about our experience. So going back to your question, after so many years of experience, why did I choose, to be part of this program? By the way, this is going to be my second postgraduate diploma. This is something that I have done 2 decades back. I was really looking for a longish program which has catalytic learning outcomes. What I mean by catalytic learning outcomes is learning which I can really go back and apply to my life, not just the professional life, but also the personal life. I've done short-term certifications like SHRM and Aon Hewitt and things like that. But I did not, feel that, something really has transformed my thinking. So then this came my way. It took me several months. I pondered about it. I spoke to several people, and, everybody was like, they were so affirmative. You got to, do it. So that's when I came into this program. So basically, I was looking at reinventing myself, like Professor Prem Rajan had mentioned. How do you adapt your mindset to the changing situations? And HR is always at the intersection. Whatever changes that happen, it is always the HR that is expected to, really jump in and advise and solve and all of that stuff. So, so it was very important for me to build that strategic mindset, that big picture thinking and all of that. And secondly, I was also looking at expanding my network. And by the way, I think, I can very confidently say I I've been achieving all of these objectives that I wanted to, though I have not completed the program. I'm only halfway through. I did expand my professional network, and it is a continuous thing. I continue to do that. Whatever I'm learning from the practitioners or from, the top-notch academicians that we have in XLRI, plus my own peer, it's very easy to, go back and, implement those. And also, your doors are open. You can always go back and, have those conversations and dialogue with them. So, those are the three things: reinventing myself, building the strategic mindset, and also expanding and really nurturing the network.
Great. Thank you, Indu. So, Rohit, I mean, you've been, invested in this kind of a program even before we went to the market. I remember you spending hours with us, trying to, conceptualize this program. So why do you think this kind of program is important in the Indian context or even in the HR context? And what drove you to become a mentor? And what was your trigger?
Sure. I mean, I graduated. I always consider myself very lucky to have passed out of XLRI. I think it was those 2 years that I would have been just about, I don't know what I would have been if I hadn't gone through Excel. I was pursuing my chartered accountancy. Most probably would have been a finance person by now. But just the entry into XLRI really made me think all through my career about, as one is successful, well, of course, a lot of effort that one puts in, but it's an entire village that kind of gets you to where you get to. I don't think it's ever one individual or a close set of people who kind of are accountable to success. I mean, the professors at XLRI, my peers at Excel, my colleagues in office, my team members, so many of them contribute towards, I think, having made me who I am. So I think the first part when Lead-Up Universe reached out to me to get some inputs or get some thoughts from me on what should be the content of the program, I think I'm assuming the first or the second person they reached out to, kind of as a practitioner, to bounce off thoughts on what the program should be. I think my first element was, hey, whatever I've learned, whatever little bit I can contribute in terms of shaping the content of the program, I think I should. So which is why I was working with the Lead-Up Universe team at that point of time for some time to help them kind of look at the program. And I love the way it's all turned out. It's just such a succinct, future-focused curriculum that they've come up with, and I really congratulate all the participants on the program for having taken out the time and both investing in themselves, both in terms of time and money. I think it's not something that too many people would do. So I think from that standpoint, I think this group is special, as so the first group was. What got me to be a mentor, I think one, like I said, a program from my alma mater, and in partnership with Lead-Up Universe. I know both the organizations, and I know the commitment to quality and setting the bar high is going to be tremendous. So I think my association with the program was very natural, from that standpoint. The second one is more on the participants. I have been mentoring people for the past many years in some capacity or the other. And I think in this one, to share whatever little bit of my experience with somebody who's really keen on investing in themselves, and the keenness that you ought to have in terms of maximizing the mentor relationship should be high. As a mentor, I think most mentors would give in as much as the mentee wants to take out of them. We all are busy. The mentees are busy. The mentors are busy, and I think. At least for me, I would credit Indu with as much of how she really invested her own time in terms of open herself up in terms of what was really what she wanted to get out of this partnership. So I think the mentee part was one thing that I think was very valuable. And second one, I would say many people who are mentees in this program would typically be my direct reports, right? So in that sense, learning from the mentees on what challenges they go through and how they solve it makes me a better manager as well. For me to watch out myself, and also understand and empathize with my team members, as I work with them. So I think these are three factors which I think helped me, crystallize my thoughts as I become a mentor on the program.
Thank you, Rohit. I mean, yeah, so it is totally Indu, as a very, very invested mentee. I think that is where you can, sort of really get your mentor to actually work with you. And I know it falls on both mentor and mentee, but especially on the mentee to make a relationship successful. So kudos to that, Indu. And I know that both of you have a very beautiful mentoring relationship going on. So tell me, Indu, how have you been, sort of approaching this entire program? It's weekend, Friday night, Friday 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock, then Sunday. So you actually, and sometimes on Saturday also we have a couple of things happening. You have a family, also this mentoring relationship that you have to manage. How do you manage it?
Yeah, first of all, well, it isn't easy. Okay, it's a very, very rigorous program. So I hope all of you have done your groundwork before signing up for this. It's a very rigorous program. And I must confess, initially I complained about the rigor of this program because we're not used to, sitting for long hours and studying. But I realized that actually I, went over that hump, and now it has become a habit. I can, sit for longer hours, absorb what is going on and all of that. So the first thing that I did is, I told my family I'm signing up. So, weekends, Fridays, they need to be sacrificed. I'm not going to be around while they are, doing whatever they want to do. So it's very important to get the family on your side. The second thing is I went back to my boss who lives in the US and told her that I signed up for this program and what it meant for an organization, which means I won't be available for Friday evening calls and probably most of the time for Friday dinners, which, is a typical multinational kind of a culture. So therefore I had to be very transparent, with the people and of course with my team as well. By the way, Rohit is the one who encouraged me to, share this with my team so that they supported me when there is a need that arises on, Friday evenings and all of that. So by the way, it worked really, really well. And of course I was very, very goal oriented that I got to get this done. This is what I needed to do for myself, investment in myself, and therefore this rigor is important. And so I think that is what has really worked for me, Rashmi. And of course, there were some professors who will be hard on you, that you have to be participating, you got to be on camera and all of that stuff. And early on, I got exposure to those kind of professors. So now, all this is given. You got to be on camera, you got to be there, you got to be engaged and all of that stuff.
Great. So Indu, if you can also talk, there are a couple of questions which are coming on the chat. They're talking about projects that are coming up as part of the program. So could you give them an overview about that, and also about, I think dissertation will happen. I think, sir, if you can, sort of tell them about that. There is one question on that. So tell us about a couple of projects, a couple of groups that you are supposed to be doing as part of the course. How do you approach it, and how does sort of Rohit help you around that?
So I think for every course that we complete, so Professor had mentioned there are 36 courses. So at the end of each one of that, there is a project. Either it is an individual project or it is a team project. And the teams are designed, by Excel. So they determine, what's your team composition and all of that stuff. The projects is really about how are you applying the knowledge that you have learned during these sessions. It could be in your daily life, back at your job, or it's about doing a research about a particular topic, going to a company or an industry, a secondary research. I would think a lot of it is about what have I taken away and where am I applying, or where have I applied. For example, individual development plan, IDP, the common acronym. So, that is a project. Well, I had an IDP kind of a thing in my career, but this was more about knowing self, knowing your emotions, how do you interact with others. As part of the OB, all of you will learn about it. So when I first made my IDP, I took it to Rohit and I said, Rohit, how does this look? So he gave me, a few suggestions. By the way, Rohit really doesn't solve all my problems. He only he listens to me and he guides me in the right direction. And that gives me clarity in terms of where to go for answers. And then I look back with him and I say, this is what I did and all of that. So he shows the path. He's not necessarily, he's giving the solutions in a platter. I think that is, by the way, the fantastic part of the.
I think that's very, very important to note that, because this is, again, there was some question around the career services part as well. So as a mentor, we should be using the mentor, as Indu has been using Rohit, to act as a sounding board, to guide you, to, sort of give you, sort of knowledge, and also be a sounding board to, a couple of your, something that you are getting confused with, or that you would want to have somebody to hear you out. So I think, Indu, I think you're doing that beautifully. So Rohit, what is making you invested in Indu? I mean, in terms of her work, her projects, what makes you support her?
I think, like I said, one, it is a part of, I've signed up for it, right? I've signed up for it, so I have to give it my best. I won't sign up for it if I don't. So one is, I think that element of my wanting to help in any way that I possibly can. And secondly is Indu, in terms of her coming up. We have 1 hour sessions on an average about once a month. But the preparation with Indu comes in, the question that she has to ask, we are on WhatsApp. She may give you a heads up on what she wants to cover, for that session. Some of the initial sessions, again, that I would say, your initial session with your mentor, where you pretty much, take them through your journey. What are you looking for? What do you want to take out of the entire mentoring relationship? And those are important parts, because see, any mentor, like if you look at I've got 30 years of experience. I can pretty much go whichever way I want to, but it's not about me. My customer there is Indu. So in that sense, how the mentee, sharpens the axe in terms of which elements of what I'm good at as she listens to me, which elements of that are in match with what she wants to kind of get to. As she sharpens the axe, I think we kind of and that relationship becomes that much more stronger and better. It is virtually like it is virtual most of the time, but again, when I remember I was in Hyderabad once, and we had a chance to meet up in person as well. So if in the same city, I would say, hey, having as many face-to-face is always better. Otherwise, take maximum use of being in person wherever possible. But I think opening up, being focused, are certain elements that kind of help the relationship get stronger.
Yeah.
And I think any mentor and any mentor comes into the program, my hypothesis is would give the best. I don't think I'm doing anything special in this, because if I've signed up, I have to give my best. Otherwise, I would not have signed up.
Yeah. So Rohit, you're like so spot on. I think they got to be at least one in-person connect with the mentor. That is so important.
Yeah.
I think
Rashmi, since I have to leave, so I just wanted to, I think, since there are questions on dissertation, so don't worry, dissertation would be the concluding kind of component. So therefore, it would be commencing sometime on the 14th or 15th month of the program. So before that, you will have to go through a program on statistical research and research methodology. That course would be there. So along with that, we will brief you about what would happen, what are the expectations on dissertation. You may also have a capstone project, which takes from across the various courses and disciplines that you have gone through, and then do a project which assimilates the learning from all these courses. Fine, so that's about it. And career service, I'm sure Rashmi and Mayank
that we
will
can
give you more insight into the career services.
Yes, sir. Sir, also, if you could just throw a little light on the process of mapping the mentor and mentee. There's a question around that, and there's a science
so
to
I
it
think
that
the process is that we have a volunteer group who would be volunteering for this mentoring program as mentors. I think there is a CXO club, fine, with almost 70 to 80 members. So from there, depending on their availability, etc., we have quite a few of them deciding to volunteer to support this program and the participants. So that is on the mentor side. On the mentee side, each one of you is a mentee, and we would do some kind of a profiling. Fine. And also take your expectation. What are the key needs that each one of you have from this mentoring relationship? Fine. So based on that, we would do as far as possible an appropriate pairing. But don't worry, in case the initial pairing doesn't work, it is not that you are trapped in that relationship for the rest of your stay with this program. So if there is something that is fundamentally a mismatch, you let us know, and so we would take the corrective measure. That doesn't mean that it's a free for all. You can sort of shop across mentors and then decide which one fits me the best. Fine, but having a clarity, and then there is a fundamental mismatch, then we would definitely try to support you. But otherwise, most of the mentoring relationship that would stay on during the course of the program, and we expect some of this relationship might extend beyond the program as well. So some kind of a profiling, particularly focusing on the mentees, what should I say, some bit of personality, some bit about what are the exact need that they have to sort out from this program. And then, of course, the kind of, so mentors, probably we have better idea about what capabilities and competencies the mentors bring. Fine. So therefore, and also their time pressure, etc. So keeping all those in mind, we do a kind of a matching. So that is broadly what happens in terms of pairing mentor-mentee.
Thank you so much for that, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rohit, and thank you, Indu, Rashmi, and Mayan. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
and once again, congratulations and all the best. We will stay in touch naturally.
Yeah, we'll stay.
All right.
We'll all meet again with Sir.
Yes. And we will also try to have immersion, that is a campus component, which actually synchronizes the first batch and the second batch. We'll do that.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah.
That'll
Yeah.
be, yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So great. So there have been a couple of questions here. And while, Sir did talk about the stuff around mentoring. Rohit, I mean, since you've been, sort of mentoring Indu, what do you think are the absolute don'ts in a mentoring relationship? Of course, there's a lot of do's, which of course is happening well between both of you. But what do you think is a no-no?
I think staying to time. I mean, one of course is not missing the time that some very. I think many of those are, I would say, in my mind, fundamental hygiene factors. That don't set up times towards the end of the evening when you could be. Your work could have kind of caught over, what you're doing. So we normally set up our time first thing in the morning before the work starts, so we have sufficient time to kind of talk. Don't tell. I mean, what Indu mentioned, I specifically keep in mind, because the answers are there in all of you, inside all of you. My role is more in terms of maybe giving you different perspectives of what the scenarios could be and how they could end up. So I think I think listening more and kind of on both sides is the second thing that I would say. Don't do that. Otherwise, don't hide. I mean, the other part also is, see, unlike maybe a manager, a team member, or maybe even a internal mentor or external mentor. I mean, there's really nothing that is that I have to, or let's say Indu has to lose by confiding in me. One element we have between us is confidentiality. The pact of confidentiality is very, very strong. So I think the more you can share, so don't kind of keep what you really want to. I mean, your real self, away from the mentor. The more authentic you are, the more real you are, the more real you are about your fears, your challenges, your aspirations. The more the relationship, I can then give that much more real insights to you, and I think that's the third one that I would say.
So
yeah.
Rohit, what happens? I mean, there is this entire career thing which is there. Of course, we have career services as well. But what happens if Indu comes and asks you for a job? How would you sort of look at it?
Look, if she asks me for a job, I will help her. I mean, full stop. That's because my relationship with her is fructified over a period of time. If she asks me a relationship, the first time she meets me, I'll say,
You
hey,
need to
I'm,
become a sponsor first. You need to understand whether
you know,
Hindu is deserving.
but
There's a nice fundamental line Rohit has just said. There's a
yeah,
relationship. So
yeah.
hence he can ask, he can help. Otherwise, I think initially it won't be appropriate to do that. But yeah.
See, it comes with time. I mean, the program, I would again urge you to say it's not to get a job. The program is to become better than what you already are. All of your 15 years of experience, your next step being CHROs are already, I'm sure, doing brilliantly well, in your careers. It is about expanding your horizon. It's about bouncing off thoughts, like challenging yourself, both as yourself and also with your peers and becoming strong. That's, I think, is the core purpose of the program. But so, I mean, jobs is something that I think would be relevant for you 15 years back or 10 years back. Right now, it's about people who would seek you out after this program and say, hey, I need you in my team. And that's the bar I'm sure you have, or you ought to have. And the mentoring relationship is, again, to bounce off thoughts that you may have in terms of anything. Like I said, anything goes. In the relationship, in terms of whatever is important to you, is what you can share. And I think confidentiality is a critical part both ways in the relationship, which I think is must to have. So never break that pact of confidentiality as a don't. Is what I would say as well.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Rohit. So, Mayank, would you be able to tell them a little bit about career services? There's been a question on that.
Oh, yes. And I think there's a leading question also which says, when will we get to know who is our mentor or the mentor who's mapped to us? So it's about 2 months into the program. XLRI announces after they have done that mapping at their end, and there's a scientific process to that, as Professor Prem Rajan was talking about. So that happens. Career services, we partnered with a couple of international recruitment organizations, or I would say providing organizations, which work on certain mandates for senior C-suite roles. Those organizations will be working closely with the cohort on profile building, personal branding, and also ensuring that there is enough positioning done appropriately so that the profiles, when they go for shortlisting, they are appropriately positioned. These organizations are like Russell Reynolds and Korn Ferry and likes of similar kind of organizations. So that's where we're still signing off. Cohort 1 will also get exposure to that as we move forward. People who are volunteering for that service will get access to it. But there are few of the the students in the cohort who do not volunteer for it. So therefore, it's available on completely on choice. So that's about career services. Any other question? People can unmute or can post questions on the chat.
Yeah.
So as part of the career services, we also end up giving career coaching, where we actually spend an hour with you and over months to understand what your aspiration is, how you want to be looking at sort of making your career move, and give you the guidance accordingly. So it's not a just say that we will be giving you interviews and putting you onto interviews. So there's a question from Manath. Manath, would you want to come in and ask the question?
Yeah, so there is a certain clarity I was just looking to have. So we're saying while choosing a mentor for an individual, you need to map the personality. So will there be any kind of personality assessment which will happen for choosing the mentor for somebody?
No. So again, this is a back-end process. What we usually do is that we will actually get the mentee, the student, to actually, sort of fill up a form which talks about their aspirations and what their short-term and long-term goals are. Basis that, and what their expectations from the mentors are. Basis that, we then, sort of map it to our current list of mentors who are available to, sort of volunteer their time. So it cannot be like, I only want Rohit Thakur. That cannot happen. It's because Rohit Thakur cannot be available for, 60 people. So we actually end up, sort of looking at what your requirement is. What is the, sort of some people might end up saying, I want to end up starting a startup, or I want to look at, sort of becoming an entrepreneur. So we'll try and get you a person who is a CEO or who is an entrepreneur already, and, sort of try and map you. So what kind of, sort of thinking we do behind the scenes.
So no psychometric.
No psychometric, but yeah, there is definitely a very, very detailed form that we help you, sort of fill it up. And once you meet with the mentor for the first time, we actually share that form with the mentor, so that the mentor is prepared and you're also prepared, saying that what do you expect, how can you support this person for the next 18 months of your journey. So that is what we usually do. So there's no psychometric, but there is definitely a thought to the madness. It's not random. So.
Thank you.
That
My second question is for Mayank. I mean, Mayank was referring that there will be a career services available. Will this be paid or this is included in the fees?
No, so the career services we're talking about for the XLRI program is included in the fee.
Yeah.
It's included in the.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. That's all.
Okay. Any other questions? So there are a couple of questions on the chat. Indu, will you want to take this? There's a question which says, will be graded on the test projects. Is there an overall GPA that will be given?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All of us are being graded on not only on the tests and project, but also our individual participation in the classes. Some professors, they actually talk about that as well.
Okay. So see, why don't you just give them an overview for the first 3-4 months? I mean, because, the classes happen over a Friday and a Sunday, and it is very rigorous. And XLRI will want you to be on video, have class participation, so that, some couple of people did find it a little, from the first batch, did find it a little overwhelming. So please be prepared for that. And they do have exams every second, third week.
So there is a mid assessment and there is end of the course assessment. And it so happens that sometimes all the assessments come together, like just happened last week. They all happen together, and sometimes we try to negotiate with faculty. They can be pushed, and sometimes we succeed, sometimes we don't. But assessments are there. And the nature of the assessments can vary. Some would conduct quiz, there is a test on metal. I don't know if all of you are familiar on the metal platform. You got to keep the camera on, no phone, nothing, and no book and no calculator as well. So it's really, really strict, just like the way we appear for the GRE and GMAT.
Sounds like proctoring in the process.
Yeah, there is a constant online proctoring that happens. And some of the assessments are projects where you actually make the projects and you present. So there will be external faculty or external practitioners who will come and they will actually rate us on the quality of our presentations and also the time that we take. So it's really holistic. It's not necessarily all the criteria would be there in one particular course. It all depends upon what kind of project it is and what's the faculty that we have. For example, for digital transformation course that we had to go and seek out an industry and a company which is undergoing digital transformation. So for that, of course, I had to take Rohit's help so that I can do project in his own company, and I had to go and present that. So these are just examples of what's the kind of assessments that are ongoing.
So question around assessment, which is bookish assessment, but tell me, Indu, I mean, do you find value? I mean, whatever you're reading and, the knowledge that you're gaining in the class, have you been able to, sort of put it to action?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Most of the times I've been able to apply. It also depends on what's the kind of job that you're in. If someone is not in an HR, already in an HR kind of job, because in my cohort, there were 1 or 2 lawyers in it, not necessarily everybody was HR. You can apply. But I think 80% of the course is such that everybody can go back and apply. For example, design thinking. A concept like design thinking, you can apply wherever. You can apply in sales, you can apply in HR, and whichever job that you're in. That is the reason I said that this is a course that really gives you that catalytic learning outcomes where you can learn and go and apply.
Okay, so great. So, so we have only about 3 minutes left. There is one person who has raised his hand, Shonan Das. Can you just, we can take this as the last question and then we can wrap up.
Rashmi, if there is a even more important question, I'm perfectly okay with that. But this one was for Indu, just about what does day in the life of Indu look like after taking up the course, right? I mean, how bad, how great, and let's get the gory details. I think that's really worth it. If nobody else has a more important question, please.
Indu, spill the beans, man.
Well, as I told you, this is very rigorous. So, there will be, in spite of having shared with the family what it takes, there will be some family members who will complain, but you got to learn to take it in stride and compromise and some, kind of make it up on another day. See, I've been in a position where I have very supportive teams. So even if I'm not able to fulfill something in a Friday, they jump in and they take over. I think, I've been able to delegate. While the classes are on a Friday and a Sunday, invariably, I spend time even on Saturdays to complete the project works and assignments. So, Shonan, actually, weekends are dedicated to XLRI, if I can tell you that.
Thank you. Well noted.
How about weekdays, Indu? How much of time you have to spend on weekdays?
So I don't know who is asking.
Yeah, hi. This is Gopinath. How much time do you spend over the weekdays? Given all of you are in a very, very...
Yeah, weekdays, I have not spent too much time, probably about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours in weekdays. And that's typically when there is a team assignment, right? All team members are not free, over the weekends. So we end up meeting, weekdays.
Is there any kind of an advanced preparation you would advise us to do something?
No, the advanced preparation is prepare your mind. You really need to walk in with a very, very open mind, a very curious mind, and an inquisitive mind. So don't go with the mindset, I know it all.
I think it's very, very important. Open mind, curious mind, and an inquisitive mind, because we all are with average 17 years of experience sitting here, right? So we feel that we know it all. We've done work in HR. How much can we know more? So I think that we have a childlike curiosity out there and not be, guided by our past experiences. Rohit, one last word of advice to the group before we close.
No, I think quite like what if you heard one of my testimonials. I mean, I wish something like this existed while I was kind of growing up. I mean, it wasn't there, so I'm excited to be a part of this in whatever capacity. It is like going back to school, right? So I mean, keep that in mind. The questions that are coming out, you are going back to school, right? So in addition to now, you've got you are parents. You may have responsibilities. You've got high roles that you're doing, but he's going back to school. I think with that mindset. Just immerse yourself. Just jump in. It's a big investment, both in terms of money and time. So maximize it. The kind of peers you will have, the professors you'll meet, would be phenomenal. And will take you forward. I think many folds. So enjoy the program. Look forward to seeing at least one of you. Hopefully, if one of you chooses me as a mentor, then I.
Rohit, they will not choose you. There will be a process.
Okay. Don't give that idea, Rohit. Don't give that idea.
Hopefully
no, but having said that, you will get access to Rohit even if he's not your mentor. So we will be having a lot of, of course, there are the campus immersions which happen thrice, and we do invite the mentors to come in. Sometimes they're not able to make it, but we do also have this networking events which happen, which are led by Lead Up in various cities. And you do, sort of end up catching up with those mentors who are not your mentors there. We're trying to, with the first batch already very, very active in various cities. There is already a kind of a small network which is already emerging in various cities, especially in Bombay, Bangalore, Delhi, and I think Indu is going to be taking the lead in Hyderabad. So don't worry on that. So you will be having access to all the CXO members. And of course, I mean, their email IDs, etc. is there. Rohit, I'm sure if anybody reaches out to you, you'll never say no to them, right? So we do always, encourage people to, sort of come and, sort of expand. So the kind of platform that we give you, which at this program is giving you, which is giving you access to great mentors, CEOs, CXO leaders, academicians, international academicians. I think you just have to figure out how you can make use of the resources that are available to you. Sometimes, access is there, availability is there, but you all don't end up using it. So a good person will actually end up, being very strategic about it. So please do try and, sort of think through it and, take advice from people like Indu, who you really, really benefiting from this entire platform that has been given to them.
Thank you.
Okay. Any final words, Mayank, before we close?
No, I think pretty excited to see the cohort shaping up, and thank you so much, Rohit and Indu for taking out the time. So sorry for that, and very excited and just looking forward to it.
Yeah. So we're very excited. Wish you all a very, very happy new year. And we look forward to welcoming you as the second batch in the XLRI PGDM HRM program. And I think we will definitely be meeting up with Rohit and Indu most probably again. So look forward to
All the best. All the very best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.